Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the diversity track. Home stretch. I want to introduce you, Michael Dorsey of Code Platoon.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Couple ground rules before we go ahead and get into this. One, I have 3 rules. First rule is let's be honest with one another. Let's be open. Let's be transparent. All right. My name is Michael Dorsey. I'm a 5-year Navy veteran. I'm currently doing software engineering, practicing DevOps, as well as, so I'm the president of the Code Platoon Alumni Association, and also the president of the junior board as well. So just a little bit about Code Platoon. It is a program for veterans and spouses. It's a 14-week immersive program, and we pretty much go from not knowing anything to full-fledged, full-stack web developers. So, all right, so for the next 20 minutes, or 18 minutes or so, I'm gonna make you maybe a little bit uncomfortable, because why? Everyone says, oh, right, well, I have a diversity training, or, well, we have to talk about this again, and it makes everyone uncomfortable. So, like I said, my 3 rules: honest, open, and transparent, all right? So, we will have a normal conversation about what diversity is, what it isn't, and, just kind of some of your ideas. So I will be calling on some people, to kind of share, what diversity means to you, all right? So first, I'll start off with a story from when I was in the military. There was a guy named Humphrey was his last name. I'm not really sure of his first name, because we really didn't use first name. But Humphrey was a very interesting individual. And, not a lot of people, they, kind of really didn't like him. He was very different. But once you get to know him, he always lightened up the mood. He's always telling jokes. And to me, that's really what diversity is, having just an inclusiveness of a variety of people, background, no matter of the education. So yeah. So what is diversity to you? If I can get a volunteer of anybody who would like to share what diversity is to them? Come on, open, honest, and transparent. All right, sir.
I'll go first. If you have a team, you want your team to look as much like the world cross-sectionally as you can, so that you're less likely to have groupthink or miss something that might be obvious if you have somebody with different experience and perspective.
Exactly. Anybody else? One more person. Come on.
So I go to a lot of tech conferences, and 90% of the people there look just like me. They're white men with beards, and I feel that contributes to missing out on a lot of ideas. So diversity is having ideas that aren't already what I know.
Perfect. All right. Yes.
I think like diversity, like you were saying, and your team reflects. That's only one confidence. Like once diversity is there, it's also inclusion. Once your team has been made up, are people included in the organization?
Exactly. So you guys bring up some really good points, which I do want to touch on. This is the definition in the dictionary of what diversity is. A state of being diverse, describing a word with the word, interesting, and variety, right? And of course, diverse meaning showing a great deal of variety, being very different. Being in the tech industry was very interesting to me because, like you said, I walked into a world where it is majority men, white men. So, all right, that's cool. You know, I have no problem. But I look around and there are not many women. There's not many people who are Black or who are Hispanic. So, you know, I definitely liken it to what she said. I'm sorry, I don't know your name. Greta.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So yeah, you know, it's definitely having a mix of people, mix of not just people just because of race, but mix of people from different ideas, different backgrounds. Someone's background can actually shape how they think about a particular problem that you may not have thought of in that particular way. So to me, that's very important. It's important to have true diversity. And when I say true diversity, it's a different story when you have, let's say, an initiative to hire people of color or to hire more women or whatever the case may be. But you actually have to hire them and not just have the act of it. And once you do hire them, they have to feel included. You can't have diversity without inclusion because then diversity wouldn't be variety, so therefore you wouldn't have the inclusion. So, so when I think about diversity, that's what I think. I think, let's get someone who may not have a traditional 4-year background in tech, and let's go ahead and give them a chance and see what they're all about. Which is really important to me because I actually did not go in the traditional route of schooling. I actually went through Coco 2 myself. And it opened up a lot of doors for me. And the first 2 years before I got out of the military, I actually taught myself how to program. And I would never tell anyone that because everyone was like, oh, no, you have to get a CS degree. Like, no, like, oh, what, like you didn't go to school? Like, well, I did, but it wasn't for me. I just wanted to learn how to program. So, yeah. All right. Why should you care? A lot of people actually say, okay, well, diversity is someone else's problem. Let them worry about it. As long as they're hiring us, I'll stay in my corner, not really ask any questions to, someone who looks different than me or talk different than me. But some of the reasons that I thought that was the most important was, one, productivity. I touched on this earlier, and I actually found that when you allow people to speak up and allow people to be comfortable speaking and just having a conversation, like I hinted towards earlier, let's just have a conversation, right? That is when you start to get the best ideas. That's when you start to really get collaboration and really start to allow people to feel good about themselves and feel good that, hey, I am part of the team. And that's really important. And that's definitely really important. And perspectives. You don't know what someone's perspective is until either they tell you or you ask. So I'll give you another story. A really good friend of mine, again in the military, and little tangent really quick. If you don't know, being in the military, it's really diverse. We go and deploy with people for 8 months, and we really get to know them. All backgrounds, all races, and just people who actually, may not even belong to the country at that time, but ended up joining the military to become a citizen. And that to me really taught me about diversity and how to just respect and appreciate someone else's opinion. But going back to the story, one of my really good friends, like I said, I'm gonna make you very comfortable, right? So, he asked me one day to, to see my arm. And now, my really good friend, he's white, but, that really didn't matter to me. Then, as we were walking, he's like, well, can I see your arm one more time? So now, you're probably thinking what I'm thinking, this is really weird. Like, I barely really know you, asking me to see my arm, that's weird, right? Well, he actually thought that Black people did not have hair on their arms and their legs. It's okay, you can laugh. It's interesting the perspectives that people have. And until we have these conversations, until we kind of talk about what you're thinking, the ideologies that you have, the outlook that you have on people that you may not know, the different cultures and everything of that nature. So to me, that was an eye-opening kind of situation, because I realized that there are a lot of people out there who actually really aren't comfortable, having these conversations. And the reason why I say I want to make you uncomfortable is because I believe when we're comfortable, we don't grow. And when you make yourself uncomfortable on purpose, I believe that you grow more. And it just allows you to kind of, it's a shock factor almost, to allow you to see exactly, what you think about me, what I think about you, and our differences of, what we, think about the world. And having those conversations can really open up the doors to bigger and better ideas, and actually going forth and making a change in the tech field and diversity as well. So a richer life experience. Learning about different cultures and learning about why someone does something. I can remember there were times where I was overseas and I didn't understand some things of why people do some of the things that they do. And it really comes down to culture, and it really comes down to what their values are, what they see that's important to them, and things of that nature. So, all right. So the solution. I thought about this very long, very hard, and I decided to come up with an app that solves diversity for you. All you have to do, select what type of diversity you want, boom, company's fixed, right? No. That's just a joke. It doesn't work like that. Diversity takes work. Diversity takes initiative. Diversity really, takes one person to change the mind of another person to allow them to grow and then pass that knowledge on. But one of the things that Code Platoon actually did for us is took us in, learned all this crazy technology, right? And from there, what we do is we get apprenticeships, really, with different companies. And the reason why I like Code Platoon is because, one, we learn to work with people who probably have CS degrees. We learn, to work with people who don't know anything about tech. We work with people all over the world. We have just recently had someone in England. But it's programs like this that kind of open up the doors to, or I guess take away one of the pain points that that tech companies have as far as, well, okay, if I hire this person, how do I really know that they're knowledgeable? Or if I hire this person, how do I really know, that they're going to be a great fit for the company? Well, the good thing about veterans and the good thing about, just having a diverse group like we have is the fact that, one, they definitely have work experience already. I already know how to lead. I already know how to be in diverse groups already. So that's one of the good things about COVID-2 that I would say. But more importantly, I would say that you going back to anyone who's in charge of diversity or anyone who's hiring, just a show of hands, is anybody here in charge of hiring? Yep, okay. So, especially people who are in charge of hiring, the best thing that I would say to do is to, when you're hiring these people, or whoever they are, to make sure that any ideas or anything that you have in your head about the person's background or where they came from, you want to take that and you really want to push it out of your head. And just, I guess, judge that person off of just the interview that itself. And even, people are nervous. I remember my first technical interview, and everyone was telling me, there's not many people, and you do that lean over like, what are you trying to say? And they say, well, it's kind of hard to break into the tech industry. It's what they're saying, right? But come to find out, there's like 140,000 jobs that close on the field every year, something like that. So it's important to just put those biases aside and have a natural, warm conversation and say, do I like this person based off of the conversation that we're having now, and not because they didn't go to a particular school, or not because they don't look like me, or they don't speak like me, or they have an accent. You want to take all of those biases out. You want to just say, really try to get out of the conversation. How can you bring value to the company? How can you bring value to the team? And are you capable of doing that? Those should be the nerds. And those should be the things that, that we judge people on and that we say, pretty much welcome to the team, right? So, the future of diversity. I personally would like to get to a point where it is not a second thought, but it is ingrained into our nature that we appreciate people for who they are, and we understand that the value of their differences, what that can bring to our companies, and what that can bring to our organizations, or even our personal lives themselves. One of the things that I love to do is I just like to speak to random people. You never know the story that someone has. You never know, what someone can teach you. So I would just keep that in mind and strive to have this be just not second nature, but the nature of what you do. And in closing, I just wanted to share a little meme with you all. But this is very true. People say, bringing this back to tech. When something looks different, talks different, walks different, we're usually put off by it, afraid of it, don't understand it, so we try to avoid it. So I would charge you today to take a different approach and run after it. Talk to someone that you don't know and make people feel included. Any questions? Yes.
Where's the code platoon based? You said that you're putting people on internships. So is it just one geographic area or all over?
It is not. So we work with companies all over the United States, but Code Platoon is located on 125 South Clark, downtown Chicago.
Cool.
Yep. And if you are interested, I'll get to you in a second. If you are interested, this is my contact information, and you can feel free to contact me, and I'll get you in touch with the right people. Yes.
So in the journey as a developing at the range, do you feel comfortable sharing one of the moments that you feel the more vulnerable or doubting yourself?
Sure, no problem. So I would say it probably had to be right after I got out of Code Platoon. And the reason being is because I'm sure everyone knows the imposter syndrome. You know, I had that times 100. And I remember having an interview with a particular individual for a particular company. And what I did was I kind of let them talk. You know, I was like, I'm not going to really say anything. I'm going to say as little as possible because I don't want him to find out my secret. And that was that I didn't know anything. And I didn't want to seem like uncomfortable. I didn't want to seem like the unknowledgeable black guy, right? Like I did not. And that was a bias, that was a fear that I had. So I said, okay, I'm just not going to really say anything. But then he started asking me questions. I got really comfortable, and I very quickly overcame that fear because I wanted the job. So, yeah. Does that answer your question? All right, if there are no more questions, thank you.
Okay, we'll go right into the next one. Kim Weisency Brown, Central Human.